"What are you doing with the Barrett .60? The SEAL commander's question dripped with condescension until he discovered her secret. At 3,247 meters she had achieved the impossible, a kill shot that rewrote military history. Now, facing her quiet confidence, he realized he'd just questioned a legend. Before you watch the full story, comment below from which country are you watching. Don't forget to subscribe. The morning sun cast long shadows across the dusty training compound at Fort Bragg's Special Operations Training Center, where the elite gathered to hone skills that separated the extraordinary from the merely exceptional. Staff Sergeant Elena Vasquez moved with quiet purpose toward the advanced marksmanship range, her Barrett M82A 1.50 caliber anti-material rifle secured in its custom case alongside her gear. The weapon system weighed 30 pounds unloaded, stretching 4 feet 8 inches in length, representing one of the most formidable precision instruments ever developed for military use. Each component had been meticulously maintained and customized over years of deployment, from the Leupold Mark IV scope with its precise tracking adjustments to the specialized muzzle brake that helped manage the tremendous recoil forces generated by the .50 BMG cartridge. Commander Jake Morrison, a decorated SEAL Team 6 operator with 15 years of special operations experience, noticed her approach from across the range complex where he was briefing his team on advanced reconnaissance techniques. His experienced eye immediately identified the Barrett case, and he watched with growing curiosity as the compact woman, perhaps 5'4" and weighing no more than 130 pounds, effortlessly maneuvered the substantial weapon system. Morrison had seen many operators struggle with the Barrett's demanding characteristics, its punishing recoil capable of bruising even seasoned shooters, its complex ballistics requiring mathematical precision that challenged the most experienced marksman. The sight of someone her size selecting such an intimidating weapon triggered his protective instincts, assuming she had overestimated her capabilities in choosing a system that demanded exceptional physical strength and technical mastery. "Sergeant," Morrison called out, his voice carrying the authority of command as he approached her position. "That's quite a weapon system you've selected. The Barrett 50 requires significant experience to operate effectively. Have you considered starting with something more manageable?" His tone carried the well-intentioned condescension of someone who had seen too many ambitious operators bite off more than they could chew with equipment beyond their capabilities. The Barrett M82A1 generated muzzle energy exceeding 13,000 foot-pounds, creating recoil forces that could easily injure inexperienced shooters, while its effective range capabilities demanded environmental calculations that most snipers found overwhelming at distances beyond 800 meters. Elena looked up from her equipment check, her dark eyes meeting his with calm confidence that Morrison failed to recognize as the quiet assurance of someone who had mastered her craft through years of combat experience. "Commander Morrison," she replied, having recognized his distinctive SEAL insignia and reputation from previous joint operations briefings, "I appreciate your concern, but I'm comfortable with the Barrett's characteristics." Her response was professional and measured, containing none of the defensiveness that Morrison expected from someone he assumed was overcompensating for lack of experience. She continued her methodical preparation, checking the rifle's barrel for obstructions, verifying the scope's zero, and calculating atmospheric conditions with the practiced efficiency of someone who had performed these rituals countless times under combat conditions. The exchange attracted attention from other special operations personnel training nearby, including several Marine Scout snipers and Army Rangers who paused their own exercises to observe what they assumed would be an educational demonstration of why weapon selection required careful consideration of operator capabilities. Master Sergeant Tony Rodriguez, a veteran Marine sniper instructor with 3 combat tours, shook his head sympathetically as he watched Elena unpack her equipment. "That rifle will knock her flat on her ass," he murmured to his training partner. "The Barrett isn't something you just pick up and shoot. Hell, I've seen 200-pound Rangers get their bell rung by that thing." Morrison's team gathered around, their curiosity piqued by what appeared to be a textbook case of someone biting off more than they could chew with equipment selection. Petty Officer First Class Marcus Webb, a sniper specialist with extensive urban warfare experience, studied Elena's compact frame with skeptical assessment. "Sir, should we intervene? That system generates over 40 foot-pounds of recoil energy. Given her size, she's looking at getting seriously hurt if she doesn't have proper technique." His concern was genuine, born from witnessing training accidents when operators selected equipment beyond their physical capabilities or experience level. Elena remained focused on her preparation routine, seemingly oblivious to the growing audience of special operations personnel who had gathered to witness what they assumed would be an educational failure. She adjusted her shooting mat with precision, calculating wind conditions using a Kestrel 5700 ballistics computer that provided real-time atmospheric data including temperature, humidity, barometric pressure, and wind speed at multiple elevations. The Barrett's .50 BMG cartridge, typically loaded with 750 grain-match projectiles traveling at approximately 2,800 feet per second, required complex calculations to account for environmental factors that dramatically affected trajectory at extended ranges. Commander Morrison watched her methodical approach with growing unease, recognizing the signs of someone who either possessed genuine expertise or was dangerously overconfident about abilities she didn't possess. "Sergeant Vasquez," he said, reading her name tape, "I need to ask about your experience level with anti-material systems. The Barrett requires specialized training, particularly for shots beyond conventional engagement ranges. Most operators need months of instruction before attempting precision work with this platform." Elena paused in her preparations, looking up at Morrison with an expression that contained traces of amusement he interpreted as nervousness. "Commander, I've been working with the Barrett system for 7 years across 4 combat deployments. I'm qualified on precision engagements out to 2,000 meters in optimal conditions." Her response was matter-of-fact, lacking the boastful tone Morrison expected from someone making claims about advanced marksmanship capabilities. She returned to her equipment, installing a suppressor that reduced the Barrett's thunderous report while minimizing muzzle signature that could reveal her position to enemy forces. The gathering crowd of Special Operations personnel exchanged glances, their skepticism deepening at what they perceived as inflated claims about engagement ranges that challenged the Barrett's practical limitations. The rifle's effective range against personnel targets was generally considered to be around 1,500 meters under ideal conditions, with shots beyond 2,000 meters requiring exceptional skill, perfect environmental conditions, and considerable luck. Master Sergeant Rodriguez stepped closer, his instructor instincts activated by what he saw as a dangerous overestimation of capabilities. "Sergeant, precision shooting at those ranges requires mathematical calculations that take years to master. Wind drift alone at 2,000 meters can throw a round several feet off target." Elena completed her final equipment checks, settling into a prone shooting position behind the Barrett with fluid movements that Morrison began to recognize as the unconscious competence of extensive experience. Her body position was textbook perfect, demonstrating proper bone support that would absorb the rifle's tremendous recoil while maintaining sight alignment throughout the firing sequence. She adjusted the bipod legs with millimeter precision, ensuring the weapon system was perfectly level and stable for precision shooting. "The environmental calculations become second nature after enough repetitions," she replied calmly. "Temperature affects powder burn rates, humidity impacts projectile drag, and wind patterns require constant monitoring throughout the flight path." Morrison felt his first stirring of doubt about his initial assessment as he observed Elena's professional competence with the Barrett system. Her familiarity with the weapon was evident in small details that couldn't be faked. The way she manipulated the safety mechanism without looking, her unconscious adjustment of the scope's parallax setting, her natural accommodation to the rifle's balance and weight distribution. These were motor patterns developed through thousands of hours of training and actual employment, not the tentative movements of someone unfamiliar with the system's characteristics. The range safety officer, Chief Warrant Officer Michael Chin, approached with the day's target assignment, setting up man-sized silhouettes at various distances extending out to 1,200 meters. Elena studied the target array through her scope, making mental calculations about environmental conditions, target selection, and engagement priorities that would demonstrate her capabilities. The Barrett's Leupold Mark IV scope provided 16x magnification that brought distant targets into sharp focus, revealing details that determined shot placement and effectiveness assessment. "Sergeant Vasquez," Morrison said, his tone shifting from condescension to genuine curiosity, "what's the longest successful engagement you've made with this system?" He was beginning to suspect that his initial assumptions about her capabilities might require adjustment, though he remained skeptical about claims that challenged conventional understanding of the Barrett's practical limitations. Elena settled behind the rifle, her breathing automatically shifting to the controlled pattern that optimized shooting stability while managing the physiological stress that could degrade precision performance. "My longest confirmed kill was achieved during Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan," she said quietly, her voice taking on the subdued tone that combat veterans used when discussing lethal engagements. "The target was eliminated at 3,247 meters using this rifle system with hand-loaded 750 grain match ammunition." The statement created immediate silence among the gathered Special Operations personnel, who recognized that such a distance exceeded established records for successful sniper engagements by several hundred meters. Morrison felt his skepticism waver as he processed the implications of Elena's claim, which would place her achievement among the longest successful shots in military history. The current confirmed record stood at 3,540 meters, achieved by a Canadian sniper in Iraq, while most successful long-range engagements occurred at distances well below 2,500 meters. Master Sergeant Rodriguez moved closer, his expression shifting from protective concern to professional interest. "Sergeant, a shot at that distance would require flight time exceeding 4 seconds, with environmental calculations that push beyond normal ballistics tables. Are you claiming a confirmed kill at over 2 miles?" His question carried the weight of someone who understood the mathematical and technical challenges involved in precision shooting at such extreme ranges. Elena's response remained calm and factual, lacking the defensive tone that would suggest fabrication or exaggeration. The engagement occurred in the Shai-Kot Valley during a Taliban commander elimination mission. Environmental conditions were optimal: high altitude, low humidity, minimal wind variation. The target was stationary, and I had extended time for range estimation and environmental calculations. She began adjusting her scope's elevation turret, making precise clicks that compensated for the ballistic trajectory of her chosen engagement distance. Commander Morrison realized that his initial assumptions were crumbling in the face of mounting evidence that Elena possessed genuine expertise with the Barrett system. Her technical knowledge was too detailed and specific to represent theoretical understanding, while her comfortable familiarity with the weapon indicated extensive practical experience. "What environmental factors did you calculate for that engagement?" he asked, testing her knowledge of the complex variables that affected precision shooting at extreme ranges. Elena began firing, her shots creating the distinctive thunderclap of the Barrett's .50 BMG cartridge while demonstrating recoil management techniques that absorbed the weapon's tremendous energy without disrupting her shooting position. Each round struck its intended target with precision that silenced the gathered observers, who recognized shooting excellence that transcended normal military marksmanship standards. At 3,247 meters, I calculated for air density variations at altitude, Coriolis effect due to Earth rotation, wind patterns at multiple elevations, and projectile stability throughout the extended flight path, she said between shots. The mathematical precision of her calculations impressed Morrison, who understood that successful shooting at such distances required knowledge that extended far beyond conventional marksmanship training. The Coriolis effect, caused by Earth's rotation, deflected projectiles by several inches at extreme ranges, while atmospheric density variations could alter trajectory by feet. Wind patterns at different altitudes created complex deflection patterns that required sophisticated calculation methods rarely encountered in standard sniper training. Elena continued her demonstration, engaging targets at progressively longer ranges with mechanical precision that revealed years of dedicated practice and combat refinement. Her breathing patterns, trigger control, and follow-through techniques demonstrated mastery of fundamentals that provided the foundation for advanced precision shooting. Each shot group tightened around the target's center mass, creating patterns that would satisfy competition standards while operating under field conditions that typically degraded shooting performance. Chief Chen observed through his spotting scope, calling out hit locations that confirmed Elena's exceptional marksmanship capabilities. "Center mass hits at 800, 1,000 and 1,200 meters, he announced, his voice carrying the respect that range personnel reserved for truly exceptional shooters. Sub-minute of angle accuracy at all distances." The terminology referred to shooting precision measured in angular units, where 1 minute of angle equaled approximately 1 inch at 100 yards, expanding proportionally with distance. Morrison approached Elena's shooting position, his skepticism replaced by professional curiosity about capabilities that exceeded his previous experience with military marksmen. "Sergeant, I need to apologize for my earlier assumptions. Your shooting demonstrates expertise that's clearly been developed through extensive experience." His tone carried the respect that special operations personnel accorded to genuine competence, regardless of the operator's branch of service or physical characteristics. Elena completed her magazine, demonstrating the Barrett's semi-automatic capability while maintaining precision that most operators achieved only with bolt-action systems. Her familiarity with the weapon's characteristics was evident in subtle technique modifications that optimized performance, slight adjustments in grip pressure that managed recoil, breathing patterns that accommodated the rifle's timing, and sight picture preferences developed through thousands of rounds fired under combat conditions. The Barrett system rewards patience and precision, Elena explained as she began cleaning her rifle with practiced efficiency. Most operators try to rush their shots, not understanding that the weapon's accuracy potential can only be realized through careful attention to fundamentals and environmental factors. Her maintenance routine revealed intimate knowledge of the rifle's mechanisms, disassembling and cleaning components with the unconscious competence that characterized expert-level familiarity. Master Sergeant Rodriguez studied Elena's shooting results through his binoculars, shaking his head in amazement at precision that exceeded his own capabilities with the Barrett system. "Sergeant, those are competition-level results under field conditions. Where did you develop this level of proficiency?" His question carried genuine professional interest, recognizing expertise that could benefit other operators struggling with long-range precision shooting. Elena reassembled her rifle, each movement demonstrating muscle memory developed through repetitive practice under various conditions. "I spent 2 years with the Army Marksmanship Unit before deploying with Special Operations Units that required extreme range capabilities. The training regimen included thousands of rounds at extended distances, environmental calculation methods, and target engagement scenarios that pushed beyond conventional sniper employment." Her explanation revealed a background that explained her exceptional capabilities while validating Morrison's growing respect for her achievements. Commander Morrison realized that he had encountered someone whose marksmanship capabilities represented the pinnacle of military precision shooting, achieved through dedication and experience that few operators possessed. "Sergeant Vasquez, I'd like to review your service record if you're willing to share details about that 3,247-meter engagement. That achievement would place you among the elite marksmen in military history." His request carried the weight of professional recognition, acknowledging capabilities that transcended normal special operations standards. Elena packed her equipment with systematic efficiency, each item secured in its designated location within the custom case that protected her precision instruments. "The engagement details are classified, but I can share that it required 3 days of observation and calculation to achieve the shot parameters necessary for success at that distance." Her matter-of-fact tone contained none of the boastfulness that might accompany such an extraordinary achievement, reflecting the professional attitude that characterized elite military personnel. The gathered special operations personnel began dispersing, their initial skepticism replaced by respect for capabilities they had witnessed firsthand. Morrison recognized that Elena's shooting demonstration had provided valuable lessons about the dangers of assumptions and the importance of recognizing expertise regardless of its packaging. Her compact stature and unassuming demeanor had masked capabilities that exceeded those of much larger and more intimidating operators. Elena completed her equipment securing, preparing to leave the range after a demonstration that had fundamentally altered the perceptions of everyone present. Morrison approached her once more, his expression combining professional respect with genuine curiosity about achievements that challenged conventional understanding of precision shooting capabilities. "Sergeant, would you be available for consulting on some long-range training issues we've been experiencing? Your expertise could benefit our marksmanship program." Elena shouldered her rifle case, the Barrett system's substantial weight carried with easy familiarity that reflected years of field employment under combat conditions. "Commander, I'm always willing to share knowledge that might save lives downrange. The Barrett system has capabilities that most operators never fully explore because they lack the training foundation necessary for extreme range employment." Her offer carried the generous spirit that characterized professional soldiers committed to excellence and mutual support. Morrison watched Elena walk away, reflecting on the lessons learned during their brief encounter. Her 3,247-meter kill record represented not just exceptional marksmanship, but the dedication and expertise required to master one of the military's most demanding weapon systems. The Barrett .50 caliber anti-material rifle demanded respect, technical knowledge and physical capability that few operators possessed, making Elena's achievements even more remarkable given the assumptions that her appearance had initially generated. The range fell quiet as Elena disappeared into the distance, leaving behind an impression of professional competence that would influence Morrison's approach to operator assessment for years to come. Her demonstration had provided concrete evidence that expertise could not be judged by physical appearance or conventional expectations, while her 3,247-meter achievement stood as testament to the precision capabilities that defined elite military marksmanship. The Barrett system in her hands had become more than a weapon. It was an extension of skills honed through years of dedication to mastering the art and science of extreme-range precision shooting.